Hi there, Capricorn, and welcome to your modern shaman Maria and RainbowLand, here from the fire with the weekly Heartful astrology report for the week that starts at the 15th and ends at the 22nd of October 2018. It's getting dark, and that's just where Venus is she's in the darkness. Well, first, before I go into it, I'd rather say it like this: the first 5 to 7 minutes is going to be the short version of the program. If you don't want to go deeper into it, for the Capricorns this week, you just watch that. After that, at the end of that, I'm going to draw some one tarot card and one astrology card, and after this section, we'll go in much deeper into the collective part and the other parts that has something to do for the Capricorns as well, but in a much deeper way, in a much more how can I say it? Well, astrological but profound way, also at a collective level in regards to you. So this is the last time I'm announcing the winner of for now. Maybe I will continue doing it later on, but now I don't have time to do the free readings for a while because I'm gonna go on the silent retreat for 1 week without nothing, no electronic devices, no nothing, no talk to anyone, cleaning myself spiritually. It's gonna be awesome. I've tried it 3 times before. But this means that this week's winner, Felicitas Franz from Germany, is the last one of this round. Congratulations, she's an actress from Germany. Last week was someone from Scorpio, and she is an Aries. Felicitas. Last week was a Scorpio from Colombia, and the week before that an American who was Scorpio as well. Funny enough. So you guys are really the ones who are taking over stage now with all these things going on, the Scorpios in the chart. So the thing is, this week for the Capricorns is all about your career. It's all about how is your career gonna be, because this is last week of the Sun in Libra, and this means this is the last week where you're really like reaching the highest point of the Libra energy, the last degrees where we have set the highest goals for ourselves. And for you, this is about your career. It's the legacy goals that you have in your life. And let's look at the fire as well, and not just because it's so nice to get in contact with nature, right? I hope you have the same feeling. But anyways, so you're committed to your careers, and maybe you're gonna make the strategies for how it's gonna be, for the next seasons and year or years even. So short-term, long-term planning, and if you want this to happen, the planning and stuff, you have to be open up to being more, in the public eye, to socially being more out there, and change the way you are out there publicly with people, with friends, groups of people, how you come about, change the way that people meet you there, change the ideas of how this future is gonna look. You have to open up to that. Maybe you had a plan about things were gonna be in a certain way. You had a firm goal, and you're so good at following through and really going towards your goals. But this time with the retrograde Venus here, Jupiter in new areas, and also Venus in conjunction with Mercury this week is gonna give you some clarity about maybe, okay, I think things are changing now, and they're changing to this, and I have some boundaries that are moving. And for the next 6 weeks, you're gonna feel these changes, go on here, and you just have to learn how to accept. You just have to learn to accept that even though you're not gonna be the chief or director of the next big movie or the headmaster of your school, that it may look otherwise than you thought, but you have to be open. That's the lesson here. Change towards, make your boundary change in a way where you trust that it will suit you, whatever role you are going to be giving. Because you have a goal, and you have a vision about how it's going to look once you reach the end, and this is what you need to let go of, and not so firmly have a fixed that this is what I want, because it's not working for you guys no more to be this, at least not now, with Pluto in your sign and Scorpios on the board. It's all about your feminine side, be receptive, accepting, being open, being more passive and let things come to you naturally instead of forcing them through being the captain, commanding this and that. Yeah, so let's draw the astrology card of the week for the Capricorns. For the Capricorns, she said. Knowing she sounded a little crazy after 10 hours in nature, a lot of astrology in 2 languages. The astrology card of the week for the Cabbies is again. My goodness, Scorpio just got this. Now it's your turn. It's the Grand Cross. The provocateur en français in France. This is a warning, I think, more than you could be a little too much out there wanting to decide, wanting to be the one who set all the rules. This is the square. This is, you know, Saturn, your planet, wanting to create structures, you wanting it your way. But you just have to know that if you force through like this, people are going to back off. This is not the time. Scorpio is stronger than Saturn. Even though Saturn is at home at your sign, in your sign, and Pluto is not, we have too much in Scorpio right now. You have to learn to be receptive and move your boundaries. You have to change. And you know it. More flexibility, receptiveness, going with the flow, receiving information of when to do what, instead of forcing it through, and then noticing what it is that you have to let go of, sides of your personality that no longer serves you in the public eye, with your friends, with your groups of people, so on a social level, what does no longer serve you, so that you can move towards the goals, but not exactly the goals that you thought were the best for you. Card of the week for the Capricorns is the Sun. Allow yourself to shine instead of always being in control. Then let's see the side of you that's just falling in love with life. Let Uranus burst his way through down there in Taurus, in your 5th house, and let us see that Leo, ruled by the Sun, in your 8th house, that you can be transformed through being the true you and just shining your happy side instead of trying to control with your more hardcore side. Use the softness instead now, and let go of the need to control the outcome, and see what happens then. You're gonna like it, I'm sure. And yeah, now I also, of course, have to say that you shouldn't follow trends, but your heart, right? And now the collective report. Thanks, Capricorns. Well, so the collective part of this week will be a talk where you look upon beautiful things that I'm filming from the air, places that I love, that are charged with spiritual and divine energy. Don't you feel it? Yeah, I think you do. It's both at my home and very close to my home here in Denmark. Our home, I mean, of course. Yeah. So let's see. This week, well, I want to start with actually Mercury, of course, because Mercury is the main character of this week. He's conjuncting Venus in the beginning of the week, and he's squaring the nodes. So, and actually, I just want to say about Mercury that he's retrograding from the 17th of November to the 7th of December. So we will have a Mercury retrograde coming soon enough. So we have Mercury squaring the nodes. So this has something to do with, are you actually going to, I mean, in your life, are you actually bringing forth the childlike, more playful, heartful side of yourself? Or are you more like, because Leo is where the North Node is, and are you going to be like the more rebellious, radical, and genius Aquarius? Which side to choose is what it's asking really now. So, but we have to know that the South Node is, of course, are we really going to get anything out of being radical and rebellious now that the South Node is here, even though Mars is also here? Because Mars indirect in Aquarius is gonna wanna, go into these wild, weird worlds where we can express our deep, radical selves, But I don't think it's a great idea when we have the South Node here where we are not supposed to go. So, well, the question is also: are you really who you think you are, or is it just an identification with an ego that you have built a house upon, a rotten fundament? Like, is it really time now to find out who you really are? I mean, we are dealing with our trouble sides, of course, and we have Chiron in Pisces, so it's also about the guilt and the shame of all the things that fell apart in our lives, and the most sensitive things, and the most intense feelings and emotions on a dramatic level. Like, feelings are changing. And this Mercury-Venus conjunction Monday evening here in Denmark, with Mercury in Scorpio, we are here. He's investigating things on a deep level, not only just on the surface or in the mind. It's on the deep emotional level, and he's kind of like, he wants to investigate so much there, so much more intense than other places. So he's trying to find a better suggestion for a life plan, for what we want, and how we can manifest deeper, more real understandings of, like, we're trying to understand and see the deeper layers of life here, and we're going to discover these deeper unconscious layers of ourselves. So, but the question is, again, with this bipolar sign of Scorpio, which ones take us to the higher realms of consciousness and to our open heart, and thereby to true love, right? Which ones doesn't? Which ones are like taking us down bad paths with bad people for us? Weird and ugly stuff. Because Scorpio is, of course, he's transcendence from darkness into light, and yeah, he's just like these beautiful things that can come out of it, and a force that can push forward. But he's also the ruler of sexual things like diseases and obsession and dominance, and things that the darker side of our nature. So with Jupiter here, it's just like multiplying things by 5. You might take it a little too far with these taboos in life, because he can be a bloodsucker, this fella. So these signs, with Mars are in Aquarius, in a fixed sign, and Scorpio is also a fixed sign. They know what they want, and they are kind of radical, and they're in a square. So with these two in a square, we want something so crazy and out there, but at the same time, we can also choose the more pure side. And this is the bipolar choice we have to make with all the Scorpio. And October, November is a wild months, and Venus hasn't even reached the 4 degrees where the crazy zone is at. But now we're gonna, because the 4 degrees was also where we had different things going on. There's some long story, don't want to go too far into that, but around these degrees are the crazy stuff. And now we're starting to understand what this Venus retrograde is actually like for us in our lives, more concrete. We are on the way down into the underground, and we are asking ourselves, okay, how much deeper down into the SHIT can we come? Because we feel, now we took a step, But some of the steps we take are also putting boundaries to other people, saying yes, no to other people. And there's also this fear of, do they then respond and come back to us and give us some SHIT? And do we then have a fight, a battle? Because Scorpio is such an aggressive sign as well, right? So, yeah, it's also dealing with this fear, keeping the innocent side of you alive, keeping the heart open is very important. And the question is, again, are you really who you think you are, or are you just identifying yourself with your ego? You have to find out now who you are. Well, again, Scorpio is pressure. The sign of Scorpio is pressure. Pressure to grow no matter where we are. We face ourselves, so we think that it's other people, that it's about other people, but it's you're facing when you're meeting resistance. Right? It's you you're facing. And you have to dare in Scorpio to be who you really are. And Mars in Aquarius at the same time wants enlightenment, but then you have to deal with your SHIT if you want that. And Venus in Scorpio is asking, like, are you escaping? Are you hiding? Are you cheating? Are you stealing? Are you lying? Do you feel and follow yourself, or you follow others and their idea about wrong and right? I mean, in relationships, if we don't try to change ourselves now, nothing, this Venus, is going to happen. You have to look upon how you can change. And Mars and Venus in square, which is still repercussions from it now, in this week, like, our relationships are changing. They're not the same as for 10 years ago. But we all have both Mars and Venus somewhere in our chart. And the one is more conscious than the other. And that side we suppress can, in a square situation, sneak in on the other, more conscious part of you. So you really have to be aware of, are you more masculine than feminine or feminine? And once the opposite side of what you are more is going to come about, then you know, okay, I may have to feed this side that's out of balance. That is the last week of Libra. You need to see which side in you are out of balance. Are you always giving? You need to learn to be the receiver and get your yin energy, your feminine side out. And most of us have too much masculine. We are giving. When is the time for you to receive? Venus wants attention now. Give it to her. Be vulnerable. Dare to be sensitive. Dare to feel. Dare to be. Let your feminine side out. Doesn't matter if you're a man or woman. I'm not talking about gender. The feminine side. And so basically what we're doing now is we're renegotiating our relationships. We're investigating our relationships. We have to change. We're being detectives. We have to change boundaries, and it can feel really weird. So, like, 2018 is all about, changing on a personal level, clearing out old karma. The inner world is getting cleared, of course. So these huge changes in inside of us is what this week is about. And last week of the Libra season here, it's all about the balance out in the relationship. So it's time to get what we deserve also. Time to draw some boundaries. Libra, Scorpio. So the moon is going to be in Capricorn over Pluto first. And that's the death of a new era. Starting Monday, Tuesday. And then the moon is going to be in Aquarius, and where we really, we detach from all the chaos around us, because we can just say, oh, F it, I'm not in it. I'm out here in my mental world. And then we're ending up in Pisces at the very end of the week, we enter a new moon phase in the traditional astrology with Aries, and the moon Monday, Tuesday. And then the moon is going to be in Aquarius, and where we really, we detach from all the chaos around us, because we can just say, oh, F it, I'm not in it. I'm out here in my mental world. And then we're ending up in Pisces at the very end of the week, we enter a new moon phase in the traditional astrology with Aries, and the moon is in Pisces. We have to rely upon God, right? So this is a week we're clarifying things, changing things, and we're detaching, and then ending up with a more intuitive side, right? So, like, fate, destiny is on the table when we are talking also about Capricorn. So it's with Pluto, their subconscious pushes towards the motives that we have, and we have to notice these signs that comes in our lives from our higher selves through our intuition. And in the Venus retrograde, we are listening to them more, because the Venus is the feminine receptive side is more here. So we take the time to listen to the more spiritual side of ourselves also. In Scorpio, also because of the domino effect of everyone else doing so, then the energy is there. We are in that classroom here on Earth. So first off, in Libra, we were establishing the balance with our inner stuff, and the relationship with ourselves. Then. And then in our relationships in regards to other people. And now, this week, it's more like specific relationships that are the really important ones we're working with now. find the right soulmates, find the right teammates at your work, lives in general, of course. And we are following the emotional part. We are following the intuitive parts, the heart now, and so this is new territory we're walking upon. And if you have a hunch and an intuition about something or others, or if something you feel about people, then follow it. We're breaking through this week, and you're starting to see the opportunities that you didn't see before. And we live in a new ascensional level, the quantum physical world that was introduced to us in the zeros, to many of us light workers in the zeros. I remember even in the late 90s, it started really coming up, like because both of my parents are librarians, so I got it. My father's a critic as well, so I got the books from him, and I just remember, like, anything right now we can get that we believe we can is possible. If you can see it, it can happen. But you have to know and see and feel that it can happen. There's so much information to get from the Akashic Records, the Universal Library of Info. Just tune in, just log on the internet, the spiritual net, and you get information. I was born with Mercury in Pisces. That means that I don't rationalize as much as you might think. Of course I also do, because I have a lot in Virgo, but I primarily get my info from my intuition. And this is what we can do with quantum physics. We can enter this information where we can also things and make them go much faster as well. Quantum level and a quantum degree of going through processes at a much faster level. We can change things just through a decision, right? We're not that limited as we thought we were. You're coming on a deeper level in relationships too, and you can really use this information that I just gave you to move forward faster. Because all of this week is a part of this relationship change. So new alignments in the world and in your world is coming. Definitely, I'm positive about it. And the Venus-Mercury conjunction Monday, you're really going to see how things where things are broke and where they have to be fixed, and you'll see how you can where you have to go towards and where you don't have to go towards. So the old can tempt you to go back, but you have to take a heartful decision and go forwards. And yes, that creates a risk, but who ever gained anything if we weren't following their heart and taking risks? You have to take a risk this week and do something about things. You cannot sleep upon it anymore. Time is now. Stop procrastinating your life. It's your responsibility, no one else's. If you don't do something now, you have lost the train and the chance. Don't sacrifice your boundaries either. If people overstep your boundaries, say something. You don't have to make a speech. Say it shortly. A well-set boundary is a boundary set. This you don't do anymore. You don't even have to say period, because that is just in the air. And people are like, yeah, but this you don't do anymore. Of course, if the person really wants an explanation, okay, I can give it to you, but I have to let you understand that this is my boundary. So in the beginning of the week, we are kind of like divorcing people and having the final conversations with the ones that aren't going to go on the train with us or on the flight into the new realm and world we're doing in relationship-wise. And yeah, so you have to look upon the boundaries, of course, then, and of course the emotions will intensify some this week and then also get a little unclear at times, but you just have to trust the process, right? So ask yourself, what is it that I deserve in my life? What do I really want? With whom do I belong? Where do I want to be? And what do we want to really do with our lives? So at the beginning of the week, you look upon what are the possibilities for me, and at the end you are like, okay, these were my possibilities, now I do it. This is the one that I'm committing to. These are the people. This is the one I want to marry. This is the one I want to do business with. This is the one I want to have kids with. This is the one I want to be friends with. This is the one that I want to start a family with, build a project with, have a friendship with. And then once you've seen that at the beginning of the week, then you go for it at the end of the week. You say to that person, yes, you're the one. Let's do this. And you take that chance. There's a Rumi saying, goodbyes are only for those who love with their eyes. For those who love with their heart and soul, there's no separation. So don't be afraid if you have to say goodbye. It's all good. It's all good. Don't follow trends, follow your heart. Thanks for watching. Namaste.
There is this angel saying, I'm gonna find my way back home. The secret is love, he said. You've got to lift yourself up, try again. One day you will break through. What you long for will find you.
Don't follow trends, follow your heart.